All right, it is 6:01 according to my phone. So we'll open the Finance Committee meeting for Thursday night, November 30th. We have a quorum. So the agenda was in Govenda. Before we kick off the meeting, I was going to ask Dee, our new town administrator, to introduce herself, and then the folks in the room just to identify yourselves and just give her a little 10-second bio of who you are. That would be helpful, I think. So Dee, welcome.
Thanks, Jim. Hi, everyone. My name is Dee Casey. I am your town administrator now. I apologize I'm not there in person. I was needed at home for something. I'm very happy to be here. I have 27 years of municipal experience, and I have been completely overwhelmed by the welcome that I have received and by the talent that is here in Wakefield. So I'm really looking forward to working with all of you and with all of the staff like Kevin, Liz, and Joe.
Very good. I should ask, was there any public participation? That I skipped that step. I don't see anybody here. I don't recognize. All right.
There's nothing on here either.
Great. I'm Jim Sullivan, so I'm the current chair. We've met. I've got some background in engineering and business, and been on the Finance Committee 10 or 12 years, I guess.
Brian Cusack, been on the Finance Committee for about 15 years. I do IT security as my day job. And happy to be here.
Hi, Dee. We've met a couple of times. I'm Bill Boudry. I'm retired. I've been consulting for the past few years in the railroad industry. The president of Friends Lake Power. We're having our annual breakfast on November 16th at 3C's.
To plug in,
You all there. So nice to see you again.
Hello, Dee. I'm Ed Bean. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for the City of Somerville. I've got 35 years experience in municipal government. I moved to Wakefield about 8 years ago from Somerville. And I've been on the Finance Committee at this 4 years now.
Thank you.
Joe Bertrand. We met. I'm a semi-retired attorney. Been on the Finance Committee. I looked this up. 32 years.
Can write that down.
Take it, Bob.
What is the matter with me? That is a question my wife has asked a lot.
Very good.
Ellie Zuccaro, currently the controller at Lawrence General Hospital. I've been on the Finance Committee. I think this is my 3rd year. So short by a few.
30 more to go.
Hi, I'm Christian Jensen. I'm a FP&A professional. I work for I guess, property management software company now. Actually just started there a couple weeks ago. I've been on the Finance Committee 31 years less. So this is year 2 on the Finance Committee.
Glad I'm the standard.
Dennis Hogan, I'm the other bookend of board. I've been on it since 1999. And I'm currently retired from construction industry and look forward to still being with you for a few more years.
There we go.
Excellent. Referring to the screen, Dan Sherman.
Hi, Dee. We met a couple times now. Actuary. I've been on the Finance Committee, I think about 22 years, something like that. But yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Thank you. Amy.
Hi, Dee. It's nice to meet you, at least virtually. I've been on the Finance Committee for about 5 years, and in my professional life, I am a portfolio manager for a wealth management group.
Great. Teray.
Hi, I'm Teray Howell. I have been on the Finance Committee. I think this is my 6th year on the committee, and I'm a lawyer in the banking and finance industry.
Thank you. Don.
Hi, I'm Don Ravenel. I've been on the Finance Committee. I think it's my 8th year on the Finance Committee, and I have about 40 years experience in not-for-profit and healthcare administration. I retired about a year ago after 17 years at Mass General Brigham.
Great. All right, is there any other board member, any other committee member on that's not on the screen? I don't
Yeah,
think-
Mr. Chairman, Evan Kenny here. I'll throw my camera on. I'm picking
Hey.
up
That's
picking
fine.
my car
Go
from the
ahead.
dealership, but hi, Evan Kenny here. I think this is year number 7 we're coming on here on FinCom, believe it or not. I did 3 years on the school committee ages ago as well in Wakefield, and I spent some time in municipal government myself. Right now I'm a town administrator in a smaller town out west. So nice to sort of meet you from afar. I'm sure I'll be in soon. If not, the tri-board meeting coming up, but if not before then, it'll be good to meet you in person.
Well, thank you
Great.
everyone for your service, new and not so new.
Thank you. All right, just a couple of items that I wanted to cover quickly. We didn't have any new nominations since the last time we met. Stefan, who's the vice chair, my chairman duties would have been up beginning, at the start of this year. And he and I chatted. I'm willing to stay on as the chair for this year. And then Stefan, if through the nominating committee chooses, he might be interested in stepping up as the chairperson. So you're stuck with me for one more cycle, as I call it, and we'll see how it goes from there. As long as you all are okay with that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, very good.
So moved.
All in favor?
No, no.
Roll call. Can we have a roll call on that?
All right, there was no public participation. This year, we are going to do our own minutes. So Brian currently is helping out in that regard. So that we'll figure out together as we get back together again in January. If you have a strong desire to take minutes and do minutes, please raise your hands, send me an email.
Please tell Brian as quickly as possible.
So,
Favor?
okay. So GoVendor is still the platform. You saw emails. You didn't get an email from me. The information was updated just yesterday with an additional item. So we have some folks from town here. If it's all right with you, do we want to go out of order to cover the articles and then do the forecasting? Is there any objection to that?
Nah.
Okay. So the first article is the free cash article to set the tax rate. So I don't know who's going to be covering that, Liz, or you, or is Dee or anyone?
I think that's Liz.
Yeah, I've got it here, but basically, it's going to be on the town meeting, which, by the way, is Saturday, the 8th. And this is to see if the town will vote to authorize and raise and assess Board of Assessors to use free cash for computing the tax rate for the fiscal period of 2026. So the motion is that the town authorized the Board of Assessors to use $4,050,000 in free cash, $4,050,000 of free cash for the fiscal year 2026. So is there a motion? So what we have to do, because it's obviously movement of cash, we have to vote on it as we normally would through our process for the town meeting. So I'll entertain a motion to for this article, which is Article 2 for free cash.
I move we approve Article 2 for authorizing the Board of Assessors to use $4,050,000 in free cash for computing the tax rate for fiscal year 2026.
So now discussion.
Yes. So we're not actually voting to spend this cash right now. We're voting to say that that'll be the number on which the taxes are based.
No, it is used to reduce the tax levy. So it, in the past, is to balance the budget, if you will.
So it's to cover the budgets that were passed in
May.
The spring, through our spring activity,
Mhm.
we knew we were deficit spending, if it would.
And,
And that's the,
and we've done this for as long as I've been here. So every November, we do free cash to balance the budget. Last year it was 3.85 million. So it's a couple $100,000 more than last previous year.
excellent. Ed?
And how does this relate to the forecast? I forget how much we were putting in the forecast. Is this
In that ballpark.
in the ballpark?
Oh, this- Yeah, this is different from the forecast.
Small or largely different?
Smaller.
Yes, 4.3, I think was the forecast.
Okay,
Dan, was it 4.3?
I think that's right. Yeah.
well, that's good news.
I recall it was 4.3 going into town meeting in May.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm wondering-
4370, I think.
Okay.
And the reason for the decrease, Victor did a great job bringing in new growth. New growth came in at 1,688,000 for the fiscal year. Thank you.
Did it all by himself too.
Oh, not all that. Great staff.
Thank you. Ed, you have follow-up before I go to Don?
Well, just for the record, what was the overall free cash certification? We probably should get that out.
It was $12,979,162.
And last year's was 11 something?
11.6.
Okay.
So it's 1.3 higher.
Great.
Yep. And Dan's gonna cover some of that. I'm sorry I did do it backwards, but Dan's gonna kind of go over some of that as well. All set, Ed?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Don?
Yeah, so my question is this just lowers that 12 million so that we'll be at around 8 million now in free
Yes.
cash after this is done,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Any other questions? All right, the motion before you is to approve Article 2, that the town authorize the Board of Assessors to use 4,050,000 in free cash for the tax rate for fiscal year 26. All those in favor? Do I have to do a roll call vote? No. Anybody else on the screen opposed? No, Dan's on the move.
Not seeing any.
Unanimous.
Dan's back in range.
Yep.
Yeah. Approved.
Article 3, which is a water and sewer supplement. The town raise and appropriate $0 from the sewer retained earnings and $225,000 from the water retained earnings in order to carry out the purpose of the article, which is to supplement the water and sewer budget for the period of July 1st, 2025 for fiscal year 2026, or to see what the town will do about it. Their motion.
Yeah, I move that we raise and appropriate nothing from the sewer retaining earnings and 225,000 from water retaining earnings.
Second.
Good. Discussion. I know Joe is here. I don't know, Joe, if you want to hit anything, Joe, from DPW or not? Or are you just going to wait for questions? It's pretty straightforward.
I guess.
Yep. Good.
Brief. Basically, very similar, sorry, Joe Conway, Public Works Director. Very similar, we had an article like this last year. So the way that the quarterly billings in July rely on consumption for the previous 90 days. And that goes forward, kind of together the previous years and see how we're projecting as far as revenue and what we anticipate to collect. Fortunately, the way that town meeting is timed, we won't see Q2 until the time to submit this articles are passed. So as a fail safe, we put this forward just to make sure we cover our bases. Just gets rolled back over.
Okay. Joe.
Never seen zero. Or usually get some money. What's the reason why it's zero from sewer versus?
So revenue met all of our expenditures.
Okay.
The sewer experts are performing a little bit better than water right now. There's no need for retained earnings as it feels like for that.
Okay. I just never see that. So surprising seeing zero.
Nice number to see.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Keep it up, Joe.
When we get to the budgeting season, that would be interesting.
That'll be very good, 0.
Dawn,
So in the past, we've talked about payment in lieu of taxes, pilot fees. At what point in the cycle would we start to look at that? And you know, I think if we wait the budget season, generally, I get the sense that we've missed the boat. It's too late. So I was
yeah,
just,
so I think the pilot you're referring to is for the light department, is that right? Or other pilots? Payment in lieu of
oh, I'm
taxes.
sorry. Yep. So
What-
we're on water and sewer. My mistake.
No problem. Joe gives us everything that the town deserves.
Yep.
Just,
Joe, my only question, and I had a document, the retained earnings, approximately where are they? Did you say?
so every year, at least since my tenure here, at 8%. So this year, we'll be certified previous to this article, water. And retained earnings balance is about 8.11% of our budget. Sewer, we're about 14.5. And after taking this article into consideration, water will be about 5.25%.
The figures that were certified, sewer was certified at 1,389,000 and water was certified at 639,000. Yes.
Anybody else? All right. The motion before you is that the town raise and appropriate $0 from the sewer retained earnings and $225,000 from the water retained earnings in order to carry out the purpose of the article. Number 3, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Article 4 is too long to read. You can refer to it in Govenda or in your packet. It is a special tax legislation article. And I think I can get a Reader's Digest version out of a gentleman in a minute. Is there a motion on Article 4?
I move that we approve Article 4, the special tax legislation for senior tax exempt status.
Favorable action.
Favorable action.
Second, Joe. Discussion.
I understand that this is something that has to be done because every 2 or 3 years.
Because it functions as a home rule petition, there's a mandatory sunset clause. Historically, it's been 3 years. But since I kind of started this 10, 11 years ago, in Reading and here, after this go around, there may be an opening to make it every 5 years. At least that's what I heard from a couple state reps last time we had coffee, so. But this one, we booked it as 3 years, let's stick with 3. And 3 more years later, hopefully, my efforts to get it to become a local option state law take effect, but if that doesn't happen, next one more than likely to be 5 years.
And this allows for tax
Qualified seniors who receive a senior circuit breaker income tax credit.
Right.
Who have owned and occupied in our town for 10 years or more. Co-applicant is at least 60 years of age and have no other excessive assets. They apply during that time frame, which is August and September. We will match their credit. Now, this year for our home rule petition, there's one little part we dialed back. Last time we did this 3 years ago, we would have approved it at November town meeting 2023. I think that it was maximum $1,170. 2024, it's $1,200, totally manageable. Then the state raised it. The next 2 years, 25 was $2,590, 26 is $2,730. So what the Board of Assessors did
when it was a low figure, we had a range that we would reimburse people up to, say, 150%. But since the state, kind of increased everything there, we cut that back to a maximum of 100%, giving us the flexibility to control the costs of the program. Another important aspect, every residential taxpayer pays for this benefit. So for this year, it cost me about fiscal 26 average single family house cost around $55. And that will help this year 227 seniors to age in place and remain vibrant in our community.
Very good. Thank you, Victor. Dan?
Yeah, thanks, Victor. You just answered one of my questions in terms of number of people who are in. So in terms of dollars, about how much in total we paid out or credited for 24, 25?
Well, for fiscal 25, we had 256 recipients, which necessitated me shifting $503,000 around the residential tax base. For fiscal 26, we had 227, which should necessitate an adjustment for the tax base of approximately 478,000.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? Don?
Yeah, Victor, so you said that this gets applied to the residential rate only?
Yes.
So it doesn't get shared by the commercial rate at all?
No, but the reality is we already shift to the max on commercial properties. If you were a one tax rate community and I did this, you would end up with a higher residential rate and a lower commercial rate. Then the board option becomes, okay, maybe we have to shift a little to equalize the rates or at least have the commercial industrial rate a little bit higher. But for this, it can only be shifted within the residential class of properties.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none, the motion before you is for Article 4, with that the town authorized town council to petition the state legislature to enact special legislation as described in this article. And this is favorable action. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We have unanimous favorable action.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Victor. Article number 5 is the Middlesex Court, Middlesex Street betterments.
Yeah, I'll move the sum of $250,000 to for the purposes of Article 5 as to repairs to Middlesex Court and Middlesex Street.
Okay.
Second by Dennis. Discussion. Does anybody want to speak on it, or do we need anyone to speak on it?
Chair, I can speak if there's questions, but ultimately there's no tax levy impact to this. It's the cost of the 250 will be borne by the residents of Middlesex Court and Middlesex Street.
Very good. Paid by those, right?
Yes, there will be.
Beyond their tax bill for the next 20 years.
20 years, yep.
Great. And is this, my question is this brought forward by the town or by residents? How does it get to this point?
So we have a process. The process is the residents contact us and sign a petition. And then once we've received the petition, we price out the cost of the project and what we think makes sense. Sometimes we ping pong back and forth on what the scope will be. This one is actually just a drainage issue. So I don't know if you've ever been down that street, but the intersection, consistently floods. So they have a pretty bad drainage problem down there. So we developed a kind of drainage tie-in to Traverse Street that will correct that problem. And we go through and have like a vote that's done for all the abutters that are affected. In this case, there were 16 houses or units, I should say, down there that would be affected by this. And we had 9 folks vote for it, 1 person vote against it, and then the remaining 6 didn't provide a response. But we usually move it forward with a 50% or more is what comes to town meeting.
Very good. Yes.
Are we likely to have some fireworks at town meeting?
For this, I don't. I mean, for something else, maybe. I would hope not for this one.
Not for this one. Since most of the residents were for it and they realize what it's going to take and what their impacts are.
Yeah, I mean, this came from them, and they were pretty vocal throughout the process. They were hoping this was going to be on the Springtown meeting, which I couldn't get the work done in time to bring it. So.
Okay, any other discussion? The motion on Article 5 is that the town appropriate a sum of $250,000 to make special repairs to Middlesex Court, Middlesex Street, which are private ways in the town, such repairs being required by public necessity and convenience. Betterments be assessed to the property owners benefited thereby over a 20-year period. Raise and appropriate via the treasurer with the approval of the town council, authorized to borrow said amount under pursuant GL Chapter 44, Paragraph 7, and any other enable authority or to issue bonds or notes the town therefore. All those in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, last one for articles is Article 6.
Yeah, I move the favorable action on Article 6 regarding accepting a grant of drainage easements and to raise the sum of $1.
Second.
Who seconded that?
Dan, well, both. Discussion. This one.
This one's pretty straightforward. You know, we as we were looking at the last article in the drainage tie-in for the new proposed drainage that we were looking at, we identified that when we disposed of the Franklin School, we didn't keep an easement for that drainage, which is not good. We also found out that a portion of it's on the neighboring property as well. There was a land swap that was done back in the 70s, and that was overlooked at that point too. So this just allows us to be able to maintain the existing drainage that's out there. Just a housekeeping item.
Recreating a lost easement, basically, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Any other questions, discussion? Article 6, all those in favor that the town vote authorize town council pursuant to general law, chapter 40, paragraph 14, and any other applicable authority to accept a grant for drainage easements on the properties known and numbered as 15 Traverse Street and 100 Nahan Street in Wakefield, Mass, and raise and appropriate the sum of $1 to carry out the purpose of this article. All those in favor?
Aye.
Amy, would you have a question? Your hand is up. Okay. That was unanimous as well.
Thanks, folks.
Those all the articles. Thank you those from the town that came tonight. We appreciate your service. All right, so go ahead. You gonna say something?
No, sir.
Going back to the order, Dan was gonna give sort of a fiscal update on 25, 26. So Dan, you want to share your screen or how would you
Yep.
like to do it?
I'd love to share my screen. Can I do that? Sharing is not on. Somebody needs to turn it on.
Yep, stand by.
Try it now, Dan.
All righty, beautiful. Thank you.
It's somebody in the waiting room.
Stefan.
Oh, okay.
Stefan.
Yep.
Yeah, I was talking to Liz. Thank you. Sorry. Very good. We can see it. If you could zoom in a little bit.
I can do that.
Thank you.
How's that?
That's good. I
We feel
think.
better? Very good. So we got some good news. I think everybody's heard about our local receipts came in at roughly 12,500,000, and then for about 13 million for 26, what we've got. We also had a very good year on new construction, new growth, 1.7 million, which is quite a bit more than what I had, and with, Steve and Kevin and I came up with. I think we were at about 1 million, 1.1 million. So that came in quite a bit higher than expected. So for both of these, I backed off for 27. So
Dan, we can't hear you either right now. I don't know if something just happened in no screen share.
something
You
happened.
appear to be,
Can you see it now?
not yet.
How about now?
We got it.
Zoom in a little bit again. Thank you.
Yep. So as I was saying, both local receipts and new growth for 20, for lined up for 26 looks really good, but then for 27, I'm backing off both because of one time. On local receipts, for example, we received quite a bit of interest income because of the high school project, and we have the money is sitting in a bank account earning some nice interest. But that's going to go away pretty quickly. So I backed off on local receipts for 27. And also on the new growth side, I backed it off by $300,000 versus my regular forecast, just because of all the new construction that's coming on and really helped us out. But what's in the pipeline now is quite a bit less. So I backed off those two for 27. That's a significant change in both those two figures versus the last time I presented the forecast. So what I'm showing now for 27, before we have any budgets that come in, is a deficit of about almost $600,000. On the free cash front, we talked about the 12, almost 13 million of free cash that we've got. We're going to spend 4 million here in a week or so. And then we always get something coming back. Did I just lose you guys again?
No, you're good.
Still good.
Other people coming and going. Sorry.
Okay. A lot of activity here. Anyway, so what I've done here is for 27, this is the same number that we had before. We're just thinking that the amount of money coming back is from the departments and so forth would be not as great. But what we have this year is roughly 1.5 million coming back from the various departments. That's my estimate for 26. So we think at the end of 26 we'll have a free cash of about 10.4 million. So it's taken the roughly 13 million, subtracting the 4 that we're going to spend, but then we're going to figure that 1.5 million will be coming back. So at the end of the year, I'm ballparking at $10.5 million in free cash. Got the debt service fund. Just got that figure. Thank you, Liz. And that's forecast to be relatively steady, but kind of low. Our stabilization fund is at 3.5 million. For 27, I've had us adding to that only because the stabilization now is getting quite low as compared to our total budget. So our total reserves at the end of 27, I'm forecasting about 14 million, what represents 10.8% of budget versus our 11 and 13 that we've had a couple of years. For the past couple of years. But one of the things that some of you may have heard that we got a downgrade on our bond rating because a rating agency said you need to have 15% in reserves, which I believe is crazy and nuts. Nobody's got 15% and based on what I've heard, all the cities and towns are getting the same kind of whack if they don't have 15% reserves. One thing we do have additional reserve, I consider reserve, is our OPEB trust. We've got over almost 40 million, maybe a little more than 40 million today in the OPEB trust, which we can tap if need be, to cover some expenses. But it's a nice fallback position if things really go south and go bad. But notice as we go across that based on because we're deficit spending in the future, these numbers start going down. And, we get down to something less than, around 8.6% in our reserves. So we do have to tighten some belts for 27 and beyond based on, the numbers I'm looking at now. Obviously, it's very early. We don't have any budgets for 27 yet, but that's what we're looking at today. Question?
Yep. No, and I would just say we have a forecasting subcommittee meeting that's going to take place prior to the tri-board meeting. So this is Dan working with the administration, pulling in numbers and putting in some projections and those sorts of things. The subcommittee will take a look at it again, and then that becomes sort of the backdrop for the tri-board meeting. So, and when Dan says we don't have any budgets yet, obviously we have numbers on the pages for the budgets, 3% for this, 4% for that. It's already baked in. It's just the actual numbers are not baked into this. That's what he said.
Guesses is what you're saying.
Those are projections. Those are approximations. Those are lots of things.
Lots of things. If you recall, there's a one particular tab that has all the percentages increase out in the future by all the significant categories, which I don't know, it looks like there's about 25 of them. And so these are guesses based on inflation expectations, what the Fed is doing, interest rates, what the state's doing, the new growth numbers, obviously could be a lot better than 4%. That would help us.
It's gonna pop right back up again.
This is what happens in Maine.
All right, Dan, you still there?
You're on mute again.
Mute.
What is going on?
You disappear, you go on mute and then.
It's interesting, but there's activity going on the Zoom that may play into it.
Sure.
But okay, for now, are you okay for now, Dan, with some of the highlights?
Yep. If
Okay.
anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to entertain them.
Stefan has his hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, you mentioned that our credit rating took a hit. Just curious if you might know what the difference in rating is, and what that means in terms of both rate and interest payments over time.
I know we went from triple down to double plus, and I'm not sure what that impact is on our interest rate we're paying on any bonds. Someone else.
I don't know if these guys can answer, or Ed.
I did a little numbers on that, but I'll let Kevin and Liz answer that.
I did a calculation. It was between around $55,000 a year on the last borrowing that we did. The difference between AAA and AA plus.
That's exactly the number I got, was 55,000. It's usually about an 8 basis point split from AAA to AA plus. So on the 25-year bond, it's about 55,000.
So that's an additional annual expense, is that right?
But on the 25 years, it's about $1.4 million.
Right.
Yeah.
About $1.4 million in 25 years. Stefan, does that answer the question?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Evan has his hand raised as well.
Evan.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dan, I just want to ask you, this 15% sort of reserve threshold that you say, like a lot of cities and towns, it's an astronomical number. We're in pretty good shape here, but still 15% is a lot. Like, other than justification for jacking up interest rates, like what did this come? Was this coming? Like, did we see this coming from like 10 years down the road or 5 years down the road? So we had some time to plan, or was it an overnight, like, hey, by the way, we think your standard should be 15% of your reserves now?
It was overnight. It was a meeting that Steve and Kevin had, and Kevin could speak to it. And they just said, oh, by the way, we think you should have 15%, not 10.
But didn't the borrowing that we did contribute to the change as well?
Yes, it did.
More debt.
Yeah, so we brought on more debt as well. So the rating company, it was a multiple factor activity, I think, correct?
Yes, and it doesn't matter if it's exempt debt or not exempt debt. So, yes, the high school is, exempt, excluded debt, but they don't take that into consideration. We still have to pay for it one way or the other.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really blame them for knocking us for the debt capacity. I just
Yeah.
The 15% thing kind of coming out of nowhere, like you say, Dan, like we can't be the only town that thinks that's a big number to reach. In my town, I got a small operating budget. I'm at 15% already, but that's just the nature of us being small. And if a boiler goes in Wakefield, it costs virtually the same as it does in my town. It's just a bigger chunk of our operating budget. So that's sort of why, we're at 15%, but for a bigger sized town like Wakefield or mid-sized town, like this 15% thing is kind of interesting to me. I understand it's nice to have healthy reserves and there might be a reason for it, but I mean, I know that, 10% for some communities is a high bar. So especially, you have overrides popping up all over the place the last year or two. So, that is fascinating to me. That's
Very
all.
good. Ed has a comment, and then I know there are other questions.
So that Standard and Poor's has changed its methodology, and they're putting far more weight. The three big factors in liability are going to be pension, debt, and OPEB. And they've changed the proportional weights in their analysis. So the fact that we now have a debt exclusion and a major high school construction, the debt, that's significant in their eyes. 15%, by the way, is considered, quote, very strong in the S&P methodology. I don't know too many people who are even close to 15%. I know in Somerville we're not, but it's very hard to build reserves under Proposition 2.5, and that's a reality. You would build them up by appropriating free cash to your various stabilization funds, but things are tighter now, and we got the Prop 2.5 levy limit, so it's very hard for any community to reach that target. I think it's an unreasonably high target for them to assess.
Thank you. Joe, did you have?
Yeah, Kevin, this is on the second borrowing, right? For the high school. The first one, we were still at triple line.
Yeah, it was smaller.
It's Brian.
Well, I was just gonna ask when it kicked in. Was any of what we've already borrowed, will that be affected by this?
Not the first one.
Not the first,
No, the second one.
last.
It was, I think it went like half and half, as I recall, when Steve did it.
That is correct.
I think and Joe is the chair of the Permanent Building Committee, although he didn't mention that, but so
He doesn't need to. And by the way, we're on time and under budget.
Awesome.
here he is.
Hey.
Don?
Yeah, so Dan, just a couple of things. So if I'm correct, most of the contracts were renegotiated last year across both the town and the schools. So are all those contract rates built into the forecast?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then I think the health insurance rate is built in at 4%. If I saw that when you had that up quickly, that's probably an exposure that we have.
Yeah, so I used, I think, 7.5% for 26.
Okay.
And then I dropped it to 5% for 27, then 4%.
All right, thanks.
Ed, did you have another comment?
Just getting back, I think that the financial office of the city and Steve prudently projected 4.5% on the borrowing, and we were actually under that on that borrowing, Kevin, right? But 4.47%. So we're under budget, actually.
I'm under on mine.
Yeah, both places we're under,
Yeah.
which is a very good sign. Yeah.
Okay, any other thoughts, comments on the current forecast? So it came in a little better than anticipated, and that's where we start out. All right, I'll open it up. So again, just I was gonna open up committee comments, just
We get your minutes.
we'll get to the minutes, you're right. So we have minutes, finance committee minutes of June 25th, 2025 that were in the packet. I'll entertain a motion on these.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of the approving the finance committee minutes from June 25, 2025?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, Dennis. Open up the committee comments. My only two, like I said, we're gonna have a forecasting subcommittee meeting in November prior to the tri-board meeting. The tri-board meeting date hasn't been set yet. I think you were sent a Govenda question to ask you what would work. But once that's set, it will be face-to-face. It will be in the Galvin, I believe. Is that right, Dee? Great. And again, town meeting is Saturday morning. There are no donuts and coffee, but it's always entertaining. That's November 8th. And that's at the Galvin as well, 8 a.m.
The forecast meeting is the 13th.
13 or 14, I'm sorry.
13.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Here?
It's here, it's remote, a hybrid usually, yes. Yes. The only other comment I'll make, I'm gonna send an email out sometime in the next few weeks on last year's subcommittees with potential asking you if you have any suggestions or desires to change. If not, I'll shake them around like the dice and maybe change a few things and get it out early enough before we get going. Those are my only comments. I'll open it up for any other committee comments. Seeing none. D, any final thoughts? Kevin, anybody else? Liz?
No,
All
I'm
good?
sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there with you, but I am sure that I will be meeting you all on the 8th. And I'm very much looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Steve.
Oh,
I did want to
Jim?
mention, I'm sorry, one thing, Don brought it up earlier, the MLD pilot payment.
Yes.
The current agreement that's in place, put through fiscal year 2027. So you may want to keep that on your radar, that I know Finance Committee was involved.
Oh, yeah.
On this master plan. So that will be coming up next year.
Okay, so yeah, next year's the last year of their automatic upgrade, if you would. Their
Yeah,
the
light change, yeah.
the inflation adder. They every year it's X and they add 2.5%. I think it is
1.5.
1.5. Sorry.
Jim?
Yes, Dan.
Yeah, so I forgot to mention, if anybody wants a copy of the forecasting spreadsheet, just send me a note.
Yep. And also, thank you. The other item that I have and will send out, I just couldn't didn't have time to do it today. The book is out for the annual meeting, which is coming up, like I said, but the report from the town administrator is in there, which is the close of year report. So I have that electronically. I'll send it all out to you tonight/tomorrow, which gives you the full picture of how the close went for the previous cycle.
Great.
All right. That's all I have. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you all for coming. Appreciate your attendance.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You.